to identify needed transmission projects. And what's interesting about this, MISO spent multiple years studying the whole Midwest states, the entire area. They take a look at generation, what's there, what's retiring, what's going away. They took a look at the transmission system. You know, are there problems on the system that are known that they, you know, the operators may be struggling with? And they run it through different programs that they have to look at the entire system to say, where is, you know, additional transmission needed. So congestion in MISO over the next 20 years will increase as demand grows. It is predicted to grow at 1.14% a year, adding approximately 500 megawatts of additional demand. And when I say congestion, what that looks like, what that means, that occurs when the amount of power exceeds a line's capacity. So a line is rated for the amount of power that can flow through it. And that changes, of course, summer, winter ratings, you know, if it's warm out or cold out. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go forward. But MISO, in this study that they did, they came up with what they're calling MISO Tranche 2.1. And that's roughly 1,800 miles of 765 kV line. And you'll see on here, it's from South Dakota, Minnesota, does go down into Iowa, across Wisconsin, into Illinois, and there's some in Michigan as well. So it is 1,800 miles of 765. They're creating that backbone. And, you know, I talk about the Midwest states and MISO and them being an RTO. Across the United States, in the West, there's SPP, which is Southwest Power Pool. They have the same. They have studied the system. They are putting in 765 lines. California, 765 lines for CAISO. Even in ERCOT, which is the state of Texas, they also have 765 lines that they're designing, and on the East Coast in the PJM area. So it is, you know, they're building up the backbone across the entire United States. The Maryville project itself is approximately 140 miles of 765, 161 kV double circuit transmission line. The project extends from Marion, Minnesota, and I'll show you, we have a better map we'll show you as we go forward here, but from Marion, Minnesota to Bell Center, Wisconsin. The line does support the load growth, the reliability, and the generation diversity. And if we go back and think about that, the slide I showed you with the generation to transmission to distribution to your home, it's interesting along the route because a lot of people say, this doesn't, you know, this just flies over my house. We don't get any power from it. Along the way, on this 161, there's 5 substations that step down the power. So there's a lot of power that will be coming in, moving through the area here. So we are in the early stages of the project. This project does not go into service till 2034. So right now, we've been doing open houses. Some of it, you may have come to them in November. We were here in Wisconsin. We're here now. We've been in Minnesota as well, talking about the project. And then we will be doing permitting over the next couple of years as well, with construction building starting, in 2031 to 2034. So the Maryville development, the project itself, the engineering efforts are underway. We anticipate the right-of-way, so that is the area underneath the line. So width will be up to 250 feet with steel lattice structures between 150 to 200 feet tall. We'll use the existing transmission right-of-way as much as possible, because what MISO, when they came up with this project, correctly assigned Dairyland Power, to build the line underneath the 161 kV, above the 161 kV line. What's interesting is a lot of times in the state, especially in the state of Wisconsin as well, they like to cite it, you know, is there an existing right-of-way so we can stay in that same corridor, you know, without disturbing anything along the way. We are conducting environmental studies to minimize impact to federal, state, and the tribal lands, as well as the natural and cultural and historic resources. And landowner and public input are important to this project design. So that's why we do have these open houses, or we have this meeting here tonight, so we can talk with the landowners. So one of the advantages of a 765 kV line that MISO identified as the preferred solution for the region is that, and I think I indicated this earlier, it efficiently carries large amount of power and reliable, low-cost electricity to the region. One of the things is, you know, in North Dakota and South Dakota, it is a very wind-rich area. And so it allows to be able to, you know, bring in those resources into Minnesota, into Wisconsin. And, you know, when I say that, it isn't like the power always goes from west to east. It can reverse at any time and go from east to west. So the 765 design minimizes land use while maintaining high reliability, and you need fewer transmission lines to carry the same amount of power. So the 765 line that we're talking about with a 250-foot right-of-way, you would need three 345 double circuit lines for 450 feet of right-of-way, or 6 single circuit 345 kV lines for 900 feet of right-of-way. So, I mean, big difference when you look at one line and the amount of power that can flow on that line versus having multiple lines along the way. I'm going to turn this back over to you.
Yeah, so I think folks have maybe seen this map before. They've come to a meeting, understand, you know, big room, small slide. So certainly you're not seeing your individual parcel, you're an affected landowner. If you were at the open house engagements yesterday, or with us in retreat tomorrow, you have the ability to see one, a blown up larger board than this that shows it in greater detail, and two, come sit down with our GIS team or a land agent, and they can print for you the actual sheets of your parcel and that sort of thing. So just wanted to make that clear, like we're not expecting anybody to look at this line and point to where their yard is or anything like that. I understand that's not the scale we're working with. If you've seen the slide before, the thing that's probably changed in the last few days, you see the yellow line starting in Olmsted County, coming to the Mississippi River, crossing into Wisconsin, and moving through Vernon and Crawford County. You'll see there's a blue line also in the Wisconsin portion of the project. That's the alternate route that we started sharing with folks yesterday at the open houses. So Wisconsin's process requires an alternate route be proposed along with the proposed route. The proposed route on that last screen follows an existing 161 right-of-way from the river crossing at Genoa to Bell Center. The alternate route follows largely follows an existing 69 right-of-way from the river crossing at Genoa to Bell Center. So both routes make use of an existing corridor for the most part. And again, you see the alternate on the map in Wisconsin because it's a required part of the process here. There's not one in Minnesota at this point. So this week at the open houses, tonight, as we meet with other stakeholders, we're seeking feedback on both those routes. And again, the blue alternate route is new to folks. So certainly if you're seeing that for the first time, happy to hear your thoughts on that tonight or tomorrow or via the website next week or something like that. A question that often came up as we were developing the alternative route, as we spoke with different stakeholders, was why can't this just be along the interstate, right? I think that's kind of an intuitive question to folks. As you drive different places in Wisconsin, you often see transmission infrastructure sited alongside the interstate. There's a couple reasons for that. One is that the I-90 corridor near La Crosse was evaluated by MISO during the process, but was ruled out due to its proximity with the La Crosse Regional Airport. As you can imagine, you know, aircraft taking off provides complications for transmission infrastructure.